अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नस्तगफिरुहु व नऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना व मिन सय्यिआति अमालिना मन यहदिहिल्लाहु फला मुदिल्ल लहु व मन युद्लिलहु फला हादिय लहु व अशहदु ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह वहदहु ला शरीका लहु व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनुत्तक़ुल्लाहा हक़्क़ तुक़ातिही वला तमूतुन्ना इल्ला व अंतुम मुस्लिमून। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनुत्तक़ुल्लाहा वक़ूलू क़ौलन सदीदा युस्लिह लकुम आमालकुम व यग़फ़िर लकुम ज़ुनूबकुम व मन युतिउल्लाहा व रसूलहु फ़क़द फ़ाज़ फ़ौज़न अज़ीमा। अम्मा बाद, या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व अला आलि मुहम्मदिन व बारिक व सल्लिम। I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was his messenger and his abd. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Since my adulthood, early adulthood till now, after some time, I always had a difficulty in understanding the concept of free will and the will of Allah. That what is within my reach and what is the will of Allah, what I am doing. And this was the question which has been debated by a lot of scholars and a lot of people, and there are actually books written on this. The best way I understood it when I entered into medicine, and I can give you the example the way I understood it, and I want you to stick to that example, because at the end I will inshallah will make a point, if you remember this, the point which I am trying to make today. So, process of eating and digestive system of human being, it starts with the will of eat, which is called hunger, and then you choose food according to your liking and your love, and then you cook the food according to your taste, and then you put it on the table, and then use your hands to put it in your mouth, and then use your willpower and muscles to chew it and swallow it. Up to this point, everything is free will. Hunger is natural instinct. Cooking, making itself to your liking, chewing, swallowing, up to you. Up to that point you can spit it and cannot eat. But after that, what happened is not your free will. It has to go through the same process in your stomach and intestines. It is not possible that after eating something, you decide that I want this part to be absorbed and this part will not be absorbed. After eating, you cannot decide that I want only proteins to go to your body and all starch and fat should be excreted. It's not possible. So the free will ends where swallowing ends, and then the law of physics and law of physiology and biochemistry govern the rest of the processing of the food in our body. I want you to stick to this example, and I will come back to it inshallah. In Surah Baqarah, ayat 183, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba alal lazina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. You have read this, heard these ayah many times before Ramadan, as this is the time. Inshallah, next Friday we will be entering into Ramadan, or before Friday we will be entering. What is the specific about these ayah are basically four things. One, it is addressed to mu'mineen, to those who accepted Islam. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, those who accept. And then it says the fasting is prescribed to you. That is the second thing, that there is a prescription of fasting for you. And the third thing, which is actually very interesting, that it is not unique to you. You are not a unique people to get this prescription. It has been given to the people before you also. And the fourth and the last thing is that why it is being prescribed, so that you achieve or you gain taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So these are the four basic rules of fasting. It is for those who are mu'mineen, ya ayyuhallazina amanu. Then it is being prescribed for you, and most of the scholars describe prescription as that it is something which is directed to you, which is really desired for you, as a doctor write a prescription for a disease, that you have to take it, otherwise it will not going to finish. So it is a prescription. It is not an order, it's a prescription. And again, prescription is by free will. You want to take it, take it. If you want to take it, if you don't want to take it and remain ill, remain in disease, it's your choice. So that is a prescription. And then it is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it is being prescribed to all of His creations, humans before us. So it is being given to them as a mode of prescription so that they can change themselves. And what to change? Again, Quran says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So what is taqwa, which is not, by the way, the topic of my today's khutbah, but I want to reflect and go back to Quran to see what Quran says what is taqwa. So go back to the same Surah Baqarah, but ayah number 77. It is a long ayah, so I am not going to read it in Arabic, but I am going to give you the more or less translation just of it. So what it says in ayah 177 of Surah Baqarah, righteousness, that is taqwa, is not that you turn your face east or west. I will read it and then I will come to each point briefly. So righteousness is not to turn your face east or west, but it is in one who believes in Allah, last day, His angels, His books and His prophets. Those who give wealth, despite of its love in their heart, to their relatives, orphans, needy, travelers, the one who asks, and those who free the slaves. Those who establish prayers, give zakat, fulfill promises, and those who remain patient in poverty, ailment, and battle. And this ayah ends that أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُتَّقُونَ. These are those who are truthful, and these are those who are muttaqi, who are righteous people, who are having taqwa. Again, the prescription of Ramadan is to achieve taqwa. Now this is a very powerful and very strong jurisprudence of Islam. And actually it summarizes everything which you need as a prescription to achieve the righteousness. And there is a reason everything is given in a particular order. And scholars have spent a lot of time in describing these ayahs in their descriptions and tafasirs. Righteousness is not turning east or west. It does not mean that the direction is not important. Of course direction is important. Qibla is this side. So I have to turn my face this side when I am going to pray. But this is not the only righteousness. So what Allah is trying to say is, don't go into the nitty-gritty details of things. That you have to turn this side, you have to do this side, you have You cannot pray 1 minute earlier, you cannot pray 2 minutes after. Don't go into those nitty-gritty details, because He is all seeing, He is all knowing, and He is Ghafurur Rahim. What righteousness is what Allah describes to believe, and then there is a 5 pillars of faith. We all know, believing in Allah, Day of Judgment, angels, books, and prophets. This is our basic faith. So you have to have the basic faith in your heart, and then give wealth in spite of His love. He knows that you love it. He knows that we love this. We spend time and energy to gain the wealth. So we have a love of that wealth in our heart. But what He is asking, that despite of that love, give it, and give it to whom? Now He comes with the order. And this is the order, divine order. This is not the order made by any scholar or any people who are describing the Quran. This is the order given by the one who is giving the order. And it is very interesting if you look into its detail. That first come is your relative. When you are going to support people, the first one who need this support are your relatives. We have seen many people neglect their relative and try to give charity to other places in order so their name could be on the top of the list. It is okay to give charity to anyone, but if your relative is in need and you are providing charity to all over the places, probably that's not the good thing to do. So first is your relatives. Second is orphans, then needy, then travelers. And that is important. You must be thinking what's travelers. We in this masjid, every now and then, every 2-3 months, we have a request that somebody was traveling, lost their car, broke their car, something happened, now they need some help. And they request us to help, and alhamdulillah we will try to do whatever we can. But I'm just trying to tell you that this is nothing unique. It is happening in daily life. We are going through this. So travelers, then one who asks, and this is the very important thing. It says needy before that. So what is the difference between needy and the one who asks? So needy is the one who needed. Needy is the one whom you found out that the person is needy. Sometimes they don't ask. Sometimes you will find the needy people in your community, in your relatives. They may not ask because of their ego and because of their integrity and because of their whatever they have in their heart. They may not come and ask for it. So needy is different than one who asks. Then who are those who ask? Are they not needy? But the answer is very simple. And I remember one of the scholars, I was listening to his speech, and that is Dr. Israr Ahmed. He said that if anyone asks you any help, it is enough for that person to open up the mouth and kill his integrity, kill his ego, and ask and open the mouth and extend his hands for help. So don't investigate. If the person is asking, it means that he is in need. It's very, very uncommon for some. I'm not talking about the professional beggars. That is a totally different topic to talk about that people who are professionally found on the street, in third world countries and here also who beg. But I'm talking about the one who is coming to, is not a beggar, who is coming to you asking for help, financial or otherwise. Don't investigate. Do investigate a little bit to find out what is the real issue and how I'm going to help them, but don't doubt their niyyah. Don't doubt their intention. That's the Quran says, that help those who ask. The Quran didn't say that first find out whether they are needy or not. Because it already says needy before, and then it says the one who asks. And the another one is the one who free the slaves. Now this is, some people can argue that this is the old time thing. Who has slaves these days? And Islam abolished slavery 1400 years ago, and they start freeing the slave. And then, though this country still has slaves for 150 years back, and Islam is actually very modern. He abolished it 1500 years ago, 1400 years ago. But what Quran means here is, according to scholars, it's not only physically freeing the slave who is in custody of someone. It is basically asking that if someone is slave of emotion, if someone is slave of wealth, if someone is enslaved of pride, if someone is enslaved or enslaved by their arrogance, that is also comes in this category, that if you help that person to get rid of that slavery, in order to guide that person, to teach that person, to help that person to come out of that slavery which he is enslaved himself without knowing that he is really slave of that thing. So that is actually a very interesting point. And then of course it comes establish the prayers and give zakat, which is the part of our religion, which is the part of the pillar of Islam. And then very interestingly, fulfill promise. Simple thing that teaches you how to live in the society. Fulfilling the promise is the recipe of attaining and achieving taqwa. And remember, taqwa is the prescription. Ramadan is the prescription for taqwa. So it is the prescription. And what is the description of? When you go to a physician, they will write you to take this medicine 3 times a day, take this medicine once at bedtime, take this medicine once a week. It is just like that. There are few things in this prescription which you have to inculcate in your personality. There are some things which you do not quite often but frequently. So there are different categories of this, but these are all part of the prescription which lead us to taqwa. And then last but not the least, that be patient. We are all human. Be patient when you are struck by ailment, when you are struck by poverty, and when you are in battle or doing the jihad. So these are the very strong foundation of our religion, which is, even if not we are looking at to attaining the taqwa, it is the basis of our religion. And if you follow this, if we follow this, that inshallah it will already lead to the prescription to all those things which we are doing in order to achieve the taqwa and to gain the taqwa. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ended this ayat by saying that ulaika allazina sadaqu wa ulaika humul muttaqun, that these are the people who are truthful. These are the people who are muttaqin. I pray that Allah will guide us to attain the taqwa. Allah will guide us that Ramadan is coming so that we can get the maximum blessing of Ramadan and able to change ourselves forever, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفره إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. استغفر الله. Bismillah wa alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to come back to the example which I gave you in the beginning, the process of eating and process of digestion. The free will again goes up to the swallowing process when you put something in your mouth. And after that, it is the law of the physics and law of the physiology which guide the processing of the food. Now, I would like to draw a parallel because we are entering into Ramadan. And I gave this example before also in the past, one of the khutbahs, I think many years ago. But I think it is a good reminder for myself and for everyone. When you draw a parallel with this example, and Ramadan in particular, or any action or anything which we do religiously which is called ritual, like praying, like giving zakat, like coming to the Jumu'ah here, going for Umrah or Hajj, any of these rituals when we do, I think this example is a parallel to those. If you take the arkan, the process of this eating, which I described, the free will, which is the preparing of the food, eating the food, chewing the food, are the arkan of the eating. and after that digestion is the natural process. Think of someone who is putting a food in their mouth which is non-nutritious, which has no nutritional value. Zero. No fat, no protein, no carb, no vitamins. But they are preparing that food very nicely. They are putting in their mouth properly. They are chewing it, they are swallowing it. What will happen to that food? Very simple. They will not get any nutrition out of it. So what will happen ultimately? The body will become diseased, the body will get weak, and ultimately the body will die. Because there is no nutrition in that. Though the arkan of the eating are fulfilled with excellent execution, making it tasty, finding the food, chewing it properly, grinding it, swallowing it, but no nutrition. So the body will not get any nutrition and body will die. And if you go to the physician and ask them that why I am weak, why I am sick, you are told that because you are not properly preparing your food, you are not properly chewing your food, probably you are not eating your food on timely fashion. That's why you are weak. And you keep on doing that process again and again, and you will not get any benefit because there is no nutrition in that food. Think of our ummah as a body. As Prophet ﷺ said, that a Muslim ummah is a body. If one part is got hurt, the other part should feel the pain of it. That's how we are connected. Think of that ummah now. That ummah is getting weaker. That ummah is getting disease of corruption, lawlessness, not taking care of each other, not thinking of anybody else other than themselves, whether individual, whether societies, whether communities, whether nations or countries. And when this ummah goes to the physician scholar and asks that why ummah is in this phase right now, the answer comes because they are not doing the rituals correctly. So you have to emphasize on your prayers, on your sawm, perform more and more umrah, go more and more for hajj, spend more and more nights in salat, and things will change. But things are not changing. Because the food is not nutritious. The action comes with intention. And intention comes with what you are putting into it. If we just keep on doing the rituals without putting an action to it, now what is the action to the ritual? That if you are fasting, we need to know that the people who are not getting the food, how bad they feel. How bad is those parts of the ummah which are deprived. Do we have that feeling in our heart? I think unfortunately, fasting, the song is basically the celebration of fasting. We changed it to a celebration of eating. What we are going to eat in sahur, what we are going to have in iftar, how we are going to collect people and what we are going to feed them. That is the whole process is going on. Rather than thinking that this is the celebration of fasting to give away your right of eating and think that how it feels when you are not eating. What is the action in salat of unity, of discipline, coming on time, staying together, following the command of the imam, following a person who is your leader. So these are the actions which Allah tried to teach us through these arkans and these rituals. Unfortunately, we as a ummah have lost the spirit of these rituals and get indulged into the perfection of performing the rituals. That's why we are not getting any nutrition in the body of the ummah, and that's why the ummah is getting weaker and sick and diseased. The remedy is very simple. Just put some action to your rituals. I'm not advocating, by any means that don't do the rituals. These are our part. We have to do it. Some of us are doing it religiously, some are doing it from the heart, but if we all do it with a purpose, if we all learn that what is the process. Yes, salah is basically for the servitude, that we put our head to the ground to accept that there is a deity who is giving us everything. This is the peak of servitude, no doubt about it. But praying salah in congregation teaches us other things also which we lost. So that's what I was trying to come to this point, that the prescription of salah or prescription of Ramadan is basically to get rid of the diseases which ummah either into it or there is a danger that they are going to get it. Now it is up to us, that it's a free will. It's up to us how we are going to take it. Are we just celebrate the eating of the fasting month, or we'll celebrate the fasting and give away our rights and accept others in our folds, and inshallah we are going to get all the benefit of Ramadan, all the benefit of the fasting which are promised, inshallah. Let's pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us all the blessing of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our sins. May Allah forgive our parents who left this world and give us the opportunity to help our parents who are still alive. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach our kids and our next generation and get them attached to masjid and our community. May Allah protect us from the hellfire. May Allah get us out of the hellfire in this month of Ramadan and give us the tawfiq that we will do whatever is prescribed to us in a way it is prescribed and the reason it is being prescribed. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعليه وأصحابه أجمعين. أقيموا الصلاة.